Hello all. Welcome to another video in the Azure series. In this video, we will see how we can create virtual network peering to enable connectivity between Azure resources which are part of different virtual networks. First, navigate to the Virtual Networks page in the Azure portal. Here, we will create two different virtual networks. Let's create the first virtual network. I will not go into all the details. Please see my other video on creating a virtual network to get a detailed understanding. Important thing to note here is the IP address range for this network. Once all the details are configured, please click on Review and Create to create the first network. Similarly, let us create the second virtual network following the same steps. Please note here that the IP range which we configure for this virtual network is different from the first virtual network to ensure there is no IP overlap for the Azure resources. Once configured, review and create the virtual network. Next, we will create a virtual machine in each of these virtual networks. We will see if these two virtual machines can talk to each other. We will create the first virtual machine which is part of the first virtual network. I will not go into all the details of the configuration. We will cover that separately. Important configuration to note is to expose port 22 for public access so that we can SSH into it. Also, in the Networking tab, we will assign the first virtual network in the default subnet. We can review and create this first virtual machine. Similarly, we will create the second virtual machine configured with the second virtual network. Now, after the virtual machines are created, we will note down the public IP address of the first VM and the private IP address of the second VM. We will SSH into this VM and try to ping the second VM's private IP address. We will now SSH into the first virtual machine. After that we will ping the private IP address of the second VM. As you can see, the second virtual machine is not reachable. This is because the resources in the first virtual network cannot directly talk to the resources in the second virtual network. Hence, we need to peer them to be able to talk to each other. We will now peer both the networks together. Navigate to the first virtual network and select the Peerings option from the left navigation menu as shown. Click on the Add button to configure the peering. In the configuration, select the second virtual network. Leave the remaining default settings and click on Add button to create the peering. Now let's ping the second virtual machine's private IP again from the first virtual machine. As you can see, we are able to ping it successfully and both of them can now communicate with each other. Thank you for watching this video. See you soon in another tutorial video. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel.